Hey, this is Tamatonga, Bullet Club original OG triple OG triple, and you're listening to the Junkyard.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Junkyard. I know, I can't believe we're at 4 already. My name's Spencer Cantor, also known as Number 11, and you are listening to the #1 greatest podcast in all of North Carolina.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, boys.
All right. I'm Dennis Day Jr., more commonly known as DDJ, the host of What Do You Say with DDJ. That drops every Monday at 12 a.m. on your every major podcasting platform, part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad.
Cheap pop.
Got to get it in early.
Yep.
Got to give the people what they want.
Got to give them what they want. And what they want is, ladies and gentlemen, I am El Guapo, Giovanni too Hotty, but you already knew that.
El Guapo too Hotty.
That's it.
God.
That's what you got to go by now. El Guapo too Hotty, not Giovanni too Hotty. El Guapo too Hotty.
El Guapo
Next
too
thing he's going to call him Giovanni Rico Suave.
That's right.
Don't give him more of a bigger head than he probably already has right now.
You're not ready for the Latino heat.
Oh, God.
We're off the rails early.
Yeah, I was going to say we're not even 30 a minute in and we're already off the rails.
Oh, that's when it's the best show. So everybody, yes, episode 4. Thank you to everybody who has left a review, a comment, anybody who has just listened to the show. We greatly appreciate it. So thank you. We got a jam-packed episode for you. Let's just get into it, guys. This is this week's Week in Review. So where would you guys like to start? We got WWE, Impact, AEW. You tell me where you want to go.
Evil Empire?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll start with the E.
All right. So again, obviously, our predictions for Survivor Series are up in the group. They're also on YouTube. It's also on podcast. You can listen to them on your favorite podcasting platforms. So you're not going to hear that here.
No,
and
not
also,
at all.
We are going to be, by the time this episode drops, we will have already gone live with our Survivor Series thoughts as well, too, guys. So just be on the lookout for that.
Give that a listen.
Give that a listen. But let's just start right off. Going into Survivor Series, we have a new WWE champion, and his name is Drew McIntyre.
I loved every bit of that. Just the backstage with Sheamus, the sword, the look, the kilts.
Yep.
God, I was dialed into that match from jump.
Yeah, it was a great match and stuff, but it's just again, I'm congrats to Drew, but it's just almost, I guess, it's like, what was the point of Orton winning the title at Hell in a Cell? Was it just to give him one more reign towards? Now, is he going to be the one that they're going to try to have break Ric Flair's record?
What's Orton at now? Is he 15,
14.
16? Okay, see?
14. With the one,
the
one at Hell in a Cell, he's at 14, I believe.
I could see that happening since, John Cena is, I think, basically done with WWE, and I don't think they're going to give him another title run.
No.
They could definitely try to do with Orton, but I don't think the record's ever going to be broken, in all honesty.
It shouldn't, to be, in my opinion. It should never be broken. See, Cena shouldn't even be tied with Flair at this point.
It shouldn't be, and I'll even go as far as to say I'll be happy to have Flair win a title in like a scramble or some weird way that you could have him win it for like a minute and then get it off of him. But he doesn't need to have anybody tied with him.
And I'm going to go off Jovan's point. Ric Flair, please don't ever wrestle again. Like we talked about with The Undertaker last episode. Please. I don't even care for a cinematic match with Ric Flair. Just stop. Wasn't TNA enough?
Oh, God.
Oh, shots. Poor Ric Flair. I still love you, Rick.
We do. We all love Ric Flair.
Still a goat. But yeah, no, I just, again, congrats to Drew. I mean, yeah, like Giovanni said, was a very cool entrance, and I think it's pretty obvious who Drew's going to be feuding with after Survivor Series.
Who's that going to be?
Yeah,
Sheamus.
Sheamus? Okay.
I think it's all setting up and stuff, but I mean, I like it because I think they're gonna, they've obviously kind of delved into their past history together and stuff, and I mean, I don't want to see like this hot shot. I want to see like that slow build and stuff, and I think that's what we're gonna get in that. So, but yeah, it was like I said, kind of Sheamus, like bringing the trunk with all that was really cool. So, any of you guys got any more to contribute to that?
brother. Since you said it's going to be Sheamus, I'm going to take a hot take early and say it's not going to happen. WWE doesn't think about long term. Sheamus was just there to give him the trunks. The next feud is probably going to be The Miz.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Okay. So we're on the topic of Monday Night Raw, and was there any mention of our favorite group in the Junkyard, Retribution?
Drink.
Let me get my water.
I just want to know, like,
I'm trying to. Yeah, they had weren't they on Raw?
I try to put that out of memory, fellas. I'm not going to lie to you.
Actually, not to think about it. No, I don't think they were in that. So it was last week when Ali beat Ricochet, correct?
Correct.
That was a good match too.
Yeah, and again,
that had some hope.
And then we talked about, I think it was on last week's episode, that I was actually a fan of the little videos that they did on Twitter with like everybody telling their story and stuff. I really want to see more of that because I think that's like really the only way that this, Retribution can be saved and I kind of see they're heading in that direction. So I hope they continue that and stuff. So, but yeah, other than that, now that I think about it, I don't think Retribution was on there. Maybe that's why Raw was better than average.
It was better than Raffle.
Raffle.
All right,
so speaking of Retribution, before we move on, I want to know your thoughts, Dennis, on a little pay-per-view we had last week that we had talked about that did mention one faction, Retribution. So, DJ, give the listeners your take on Talkin' Shop Mania 2, the second worst pay-per-view of all time.
I'm going to quote my man Scorpio Sky when I say this is the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen. I mean, it was, but you know what? It's what it was. You know what though? I say it's the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen, but it's one of the very few pay-per-views I've ever seen where it's lived up to its billing. And in this case, it was the worst pay-per-view ever. It was, but you know what though? It made me laugh quite a bit. There were a lot of like really fun things. Again, I think you alluded to last week too, Giovanni, that whoever I don't know what Gangrel and Hurricane have been doing, man, but they're everywhere.
Yes,
but then just that ending, I will admit, I legit popped for that ending with like the PWO, like they're all around, and like the guy with the Jason mask on, which I'm almost positive was Gallows.
It is,
yeah.
But like you got like Scott Steiner there, and just and it's just. And Ethan Page as his karate alter ego.
Oh, that was great.
And that stuff. But man, I'll tell you what. One thing I will say about that pay-per-view, when ball for a ball was way better than eye for an eye.
Yes.
Anything was better than that. Let's just be honest with that.
Oh, and shout out to Ray.
Yeah. And then poor
have Vi healed now.
Yeah, and poor whatchamacallit, Nature Boy Paul Lee.
Oh,
dude just got destroyed, and then man, for like my shining star of that pay per view, if there is such a thing for a pay per view like that, how fucking hilarious was Mike Knox as Knox?
Oh,
yes,
he had the mannerisms and everything down pat.
Oh, he did. Like,
and that was just brilliant. And everybody's favorite man scout with his alter ego bringing out Freight Train.
Oh,
Like, what was it?
listen.
Ball Layman.
Ball Layman.
Like, yeah, like I almost wore. Like I saw the shirt that's on there. I think Freight Train was wearing. I'm a Ball Layman guy. I almost want to buy one of those shirts.
Oh.
But no, overall, guys, if you haven't seen it, go. It's worth the $15. I mean,
Yes,
if you just want like an hour and a half to 2 hours of just something that'll make you laugh because of how bad it was. Movies such as Thanksgiving or Rubber.
Hey.
But I mean,
like Rubber.
God, that movie was so bad.
Rubber.
I mean, a tire with telekinetic powers, really?
No, the tire just rolls or whatever, and then it just kind of creaks into that woman's bedroom, whatever, and he's just watching, whatever.
And then the head pops.
But
no, in all seriousness, though, it was a lot of fun, and it was everything that I had expected it to be, and then some. So,
did you enjoy the death match?
Yeah. Oh my god,
that was my highlight of the whole pay-per-view, man. I love Ball for a Ball, but that death match, damn it was good.
The death match was good. I would probably say that was my highlight too. Ball for a Ball, highly entertaining as it was. I think the death match was better, and you got some pretty cool stuff in there. Some delivery company our boy works for showed up and saved the other team at the nick of time.
Whoop whoop.
Amazon baby.
Yeah, shout out Amazon. You can sponsor the Junkyard if you want.
Yes,
we're taking sponsorships.
Let's get back to Raw and stuff. I mean, it was a decent go-home show. I mean, we got the teams finalized. Again, we discussed this on our Survivor Series preview show that we did, that we just recently did and stuff. I mean, you got your Raw men's team of, AJ Styles, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, Riddle and Keith Lee, and then your women's team is set now with I'll get
it off for you.
Come on.
Nia Jax.
Thank you.
Shayna Baszler, Lana.
And then
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. And Peyton Royce.
Yep.
Peyton Royce.
So, and then obviously, everything's cool. Like I said, it was a decent show and that, but obviously the big thing coming out of that was Drew McIntyre winning the title. Now we're going to move on to SmackDown, and then we'll circle back to NXT.
Let's do it.
And that's how about Daniel Bryan's new do?
He looks like The Miz.
He looks like the hipster dad.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, he does have a Miz hairstyle now.
Dude, Daniel Bryan looks like he should be working at a Starbucks.
Oh, okay. So AEW had Tony Schiavone as a barista. Now they're going to have Daniel Bryan be a barista.
Yes.
he got his win back against Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Roman didn't look too happy about it and stuff. So I mean,
it was a good match.
It was.
Heard,
yeah. I mean, Jey Uso's proven he can hang with the big boys. So
yes. If anything, at least this feud with Roman, I mean, it's done wonders for Jay because, man, we knew he can go. His tag team matches showed he can go. Yep. But now solo against some of the bigger names, you're like, holy crap, this dude is some good matches.
Yeah. Like we always thought he was with the Usos for the longest time. And, it's like he was a good tag team wrestler. But now, like his brother's been out and they're doing the storyline with Roman, it's giving a chance for Jay to shine on like the big stage. So it's been nothing but wonders for his career.
Yeah, yes. He was given the ball and he is running with it right now.
Absolutely.
And that's so. And then obviously, we got our SmackDown team set. We have.
Can you name them all?
Come on.
Yeah. Now let's see. Okay, so we have for SmackDown. We have.
I can't sing that
right now.
Okay, Giovanni.
All right, Team SmackDown has a bunch of jobbers. It doesn't matter; they're going to lose.
SmackDown has no chance to win. We'll find out for sure when this drops.
Oh, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso.
There you go. Otis.
Oh yeah.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins and
King Corbin.
King Corbin. So
Like
yeah,
I said.
like I
Bums.
said, yeah, it's clearly in the battle of the men's match again, like we talked about on our preview show. It's clearly stacked in Raw's favor right now.
Yeah, so SmackDown could surprise us. We'll see.
They could.
Bunch of jabronis.
Yeah, and then on the women's team, gotta give a shout out to them. You got Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Bianca Belair, Natalya, and Bayley.
Speaking of real quick, we're talking about the women's team, man. Ruby Riott with short hair, yay or nay?
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement on that one. Kind of the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she obviously. I mean, it was pretty obvious that what she had on before were hair extensions, and I think her now it's her more natural look and stuff. And I mean, I've always thought she's what I like to call oddly hot.
Yes, I'll give her that.
That makes sense.
Like
she looked like the girl I would have a crush in high school, just because she'd probably smoke outside in the back, and she would just be like, "Oh wow, that's someone different right there."
She wants to take a walk on the wild side.
That's it. She probably read like all the Wicca stuff and was really into Anne Rice, Evanescence.
But also, one thing I do also want to comment though about when it comes to the teams on the SmackDown side is they both appear, or at least the women's team appears to be more unified than their counterparts on Raw. I don't know if you kind of picked up on that in the end when he qualified and stuff. So, and then we still got the ongoing issue with our SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and one Mrs. Carmella.
I was like, he can't get it out. He can't get it out.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, they're really, Sami Zayn is killing on the promo. I love this little thing when they call, he was interacting with, what was it, the Street Profits and Big E, basically saying the only reason why the Undertaker's calling it a career is because he knows I owe him one for being chokeslammed at Madison Square Garden. Sami Zayn is the fucking man right now.
I love Sami Zayn. He has this weird air, it's kind of like, I don't care. What are they gonna do to me?
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good assessment.
What are they gonna do? Send me to AEW?
Exactly.
I think back to the whole thing with Sami Zayn. Do you guys remember the electric chair?
Yes.
That one-time segment with Corey Graves, and then he basically it was like, you can ask me anything. You can ask me about AEW, and it's just like he just didn't care, and that's kind of how he feels right now. He just does not care.
El Generico to AEW confirmed.
Could possibly happen. Resemblance of El Generico. All right, so I think one more thing on SmackDown too. You had Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy, and Buddy got the win. Yeah. Is that feud done?
Yes, please, for the love of God.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, clearly it's looking like they're going. Yeah, that was kind of the blow off. Last week we had the blow off to Rollins and Mysterio, and this week it's I don't know necessarily if I think it's the end of the feud between Rollins and Murphy, because I think Rollins is going to grow deeply resentful I think this whole Buddy Murphy with the line with the Mysterios is going to drive Seth Rollins is eventually going to wind up just going mad and that. So, and obviously we all know judging by the photos that were just recently which can give congratulations to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on the impending arrival of their first child and stuff. I don't think, like I said, and I think we're going to get one more match between Rollins and Murphy, and I think this is going to be the match, some sort of stipulations where if Rollins said doesn't win, he's going to be gone, and stuff. And I think this is going to send him off on paternity leave so he can be there for the birth of his child and stuff. Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily the end of the feud with Murphy, but because I definitely think we get one more match that sends Rollins on his way for the time being. So
and that's what I was thinking too, DDJ. I was trying to figure out when was he going to take some paternity time, because we know the baby's got to be getting close. Becky had a big belly.
I think she's due next month.
Yeah, she's getting close, ready to pop.
He needs to. They'll have to write him off somehow.
Yeah.
So a go away type of match and everything. I could see it happening. I can also see an angle where he's in this big match at Survivor Series. Maybe they do an injury angle to get him out.
Yeah.
Just to give him some extra time. You know, we don't know how long he's going to want out, but that's normally a good way to have someone out as a kayfabe injury.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think both your ways make sense, but I probably would lean towards Jovan. I think Survivor Series might be kind of like his send off for a while, maybe like an injury angle or something. And then he'll go take care of Becky, his baby, and then come back maybe like towards WrestleMania time or whatever. Give him like an extended paternity leave because he's done so much for the company, and then Becky has too. So
I want that baby to have Seth Rollins' like wet looking hair, but I want it to be Becky Lynch's red hair.
Oh.
I just want it to be like completely weird, red, slick back looking long hair, dude.
No. We need one of those things that merges like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and then you see the photo right now.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Oh, that'd be funny right now. But I think that's it for SmackDown. Let's circle back to Impact. We had a big send off for a trio of men, the Rascals.
Yes.
Looks like they are going to, I think NXT is the rumor.
I think they're NXT bound. That's the big rumor, but there has also been dirt sheet rumblings with possibly AEW, man.
Yeah.
You know, AEW is always in everybody's destined rumors, but I think the enforcer, Arn Anderson, had a hot take on marijuana use, something to the tune of just let the boys smoke. And, you know, kind of having that attitude, and that group is kind of known for their smoking gimmick. Kind of had a lot of people doing 2 and 2. Well, maybe AEW is interested in the Rascals, but
I should be.
Dude, everybody needs to be interested in the Rascals. These guys can go.
Yeah. I haven't seen. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they can go. I've actually had the privilege of seeing them perform at a couple of indie shows, the Warrior Wrestling shows that they were at, and stuff. And yeah, those guys can go. I mean, they have that one move where it's basically like one of them does a standing moonsault and the guy like pushes him over. I thought that was like the coolest thing the first time I saw that. And it's just, they're so innovative, and the thing is they're all young, so they're just really getting started. I mean, they've got, especially Trey Miguel, who's
that's
clearly, he's definitely the star of the group and stuff. Yeah, and when Impact gave him the chance to shine, he's taken the ball and run with it as well too. But I mean, all three of those guys are extremely talented.
Right.
I feel like in terms of the American promotions, I think AEW would be a way to go. I just, like I said, I could see them doing well in NXT, but I don't see that gimmick translating to the main roster. So that's why I really hope they don't go to NXT, because eventually they're going to have to go to the main roster, and just they're going to be dead in the water. Then it's just
right.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Let me just bring this, because it's a promotion that nobody really talks about, but I think might be a viable. What about them going to Ring of Honor?
Is Ring of Honor doing consistent shows right now?
They're basically doing what Impact's doing.
Okay.
Like, they're where they have, closed set tapings and stuff like that. I think they're operating out of Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And that's so, it's just, I definitely, honestly, I think that would be an even better place for them to go, because I think in AEW, there's so much talent there now. I just don't think they could stand out. I think they're like Ring of Honor. I think Ring of Honor would honestly be the best place for them to go.
Do they have the funds to be able to acquire them though? Because these guys are pretty big names. I don't know if like Ring of Honor can do a competitive kind of wage for them.
That's true. I'm just talking about where I think they would be like their talents would be best utilized, and where I think they'd have the chance to make the biggest splash. I mean, in terms of, if we're talking finances, there's only two options. It's either AEW or WWE.
Right. So we have been talking about the Rascals, and they've been kind of this trio, but then Trey Miguel was given the chance to shine like at Slammiversary and do like individual matches. Mm-hmm. Do you see a possibility where these guys don't stick together and maybe like Trey goes to like AEW or NXT, and then the other two go to ROH or some other promotion. Do you see that as a possibility, or do they stick together?
No. I think they stick together. I think and I'm honestly surprised we didn't really see that in Impact, with them possibly splitting, or kind of, maybe Trey going off on his own with, Wentz and Des and Wentz, kind of doing the tag team thing and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, I definitely see them all three of them going somewhere.
Yeah.
But I definitely eventually see wherever they wind up. I could see it like a split happening.
Yeah, for me right now, if the split was going to happen, it would have been an Impact.
Yeah.
But since the decision was all three of the Rascals were leaving, that kind of tells me all three of the Rascals are interested in sticking together.
Right.
I think they realize, though, that's where the money's at for them sticking together. Because like I said, again, we talk about how Trey's kind of like the star of the three, but I don't know, and I could be wrong, or you may disagree with me in this, but I don't think they've really established themselves enough individually to succeed on their own.
Yes.
I agree with that too. So definitely be interesting to see what happens with the Rascals and where they go. I know you go.
Sorry, real quick, couple other things from Impact.
Yeah, I was gonna say, finish up.
We had the Deaners went to Sherlock Tommy Dreamer and told them, spilled the beans about finding the gun in Johnny Swinger's locker room at Turning Point, and that. So, and then also too, we had the kickoff of the Knockouts Tag Team title tournament.
I'm excited for this tag team tournament, man.
Me too.
I think their Knockouts division, I've said it multiple times, and y'all can fight me on it. It is one of the deepest women's divisions we have out there. And this is going to give.
I'll take you even one step further. I think their women's division is better than anything else in any of the other companies right now.
There you go. Hot takes.
Hot takes for days.
But definitely, I love that these ladies are getting the time and the opportunity to kind of show what they've got.
Yeah,
because they are seriously deep. And I wasn't just kissing up when we had Deonna Purrazzo on the meet and greets. She honestly is on the top of a mountain of a killer's row of women's wrestling.
Speaking of Deonna, does not look like our former resident Undead Bride and former Knockouts champion is done with Deonna yet.
Oh, yeah, Susie's crazy.
But guys, is that it for Impact? Ready to move on to the Wednesday Night Wars?
Let's do it.
It's Wednesday night.
So we're going to save AEW for last. Let's start with NXT. We are having the return of NXT War Games.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have Team Candice LeRae versus Team Shotzi Blackheart.
Correct.
Yes.
And then we have Team Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee's group, the Kings of NXT.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty much obvious, like that the men's War Games is going to be Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee. I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, but I think it's pretty obvious. And
that's got to be.
Yeah, and then obviously on the women's side, we just know it's Team Candice versus Team Shotzi, and I mean we kind of got a little bit of a tease as to who's going to be on whose team and stuff.
Right.
But nothing's been officially made there. But I mean, the one thing I will say, even they NXT obviously WWE, they have the rights to War Games, and they've been doing these matches now in NXT for the past couple of years.
Right.
Well, now a lot of people have shit on them and said that this is nothing like I will actually disagree. I actually like what they've done with the War Games concept in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things that I always didn't like about the original War Games was the fact that they did have the roof on the cage because, and you could see it in some of the early matches where the 91 where Pillman almost got killed by Sid Vicious with the power bomb and just because he couldn't get him up all the way, and just you can't have these guys doing these high flying moves, like guys like Brian Pillman, guys like Sting back in his prime and stuff, and Ricky Steamboat. I mean, they can't do what they normally would do in a War Game setting because of the cage being so low to the ground. So them removing the cage, honestly, I really like them doing that because it's given the NXT talent more options and more, more creative freedom to do their thing. And like I said, I have not honestly been disappointed with one War Games match they've put on, and especially last year with the women, despite the fact that it was actually 4-on-2 that match, but man, they just told such an amazing story, and I mean, in that. So so I want to just kudos to Triple H, to HBK, everybody behind NXT for honestly, I think not only bringing back War Games, but honestly taking it to kind of letting it evolve. So I mean, I'm looking forward to both War Games matches coming up.
I like how you let that there. You let it evolve. Dusty's concept, for War Games, the Match Beyond, however they were going to call it. I mean, it was at the time it was revolutionary. You have the 2 rings, you've got it enclosed, and that was a great setup in theory. But exactly like you said, that roof has to come off.
Yes,
the top of that cell had to come off as people and then the performers started evolving, and we started having these crazy guys who could do flips out of nowhere. You want people flying from the top of that sumbitch down to the ring.
Like Ricochet doing his double moonsault.
Exactly. You want to be able to have those high spots, and taking the roof off is exactly what allowed that to happen. So, to everybody who go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, shout out to whoever put that little video together on NXT using War Pigs, man. That was awesome.
Yes. Great. It was just great marketing, the way they do that.
Yeah.
But War Games, honestly, the way that they've handled it, the way that they've evolved it, I'm all in. It's honestly one of the only things that I really still get excited for from this product. So I'm all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we go into killing NXT now?
Killing NXT.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this, and I know if it's where I'm go ahead. Actually, and if it's what I think, I'll offer my thoughts here after you're done.
NXT has gotten too gimmicky, gentlemen. The whole Johnny Gargano and Will thing, stupid. And then now we've got the blindfold match.
Oh, God.
Which I guess in my younger days, I remember watching a blindfold match. And yes, it was kind of like, oh, wow, they can't see each other. But this one was just like, oh, Jesus. This sucks so bad. And I guess you could kind of see a theme of it always being in, was it Grimes matches?
Yeah.
But I'm out. I'm all the way out on these gimmick matches that they're having. It's too much for me.
Well, it's just like, honestly, like I said, and it's a shame, especially that blind, because I think both those guys, Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, are extremely talented.
Right.
Cameron Grimes is just every week is getting better, and I've been a fan of his for a long time, dating back to his days as Trevor Lee in Impact Wrestling, and and stuff, and I wish him all this. And I actually had a chance to meet him at a local independent show, like I think not too long before he actually signed with NXT, and that. So, and then Dexter, I like that his character so just creepy, but it works so well. And, like I just thought that this was a waste of talent. But kind of you mentioned about Johnny Gargano. I liked, like I said, I think I went on record and said I liked what they did with Leon Ruff winning the title.
Yeah,
but but I really did not like what they did with this whole thing. With Damian Priest coming out, kind of antagonizing Johnny Gargano, and then basically picking up Leon Ruff saying sorry, man, and just clocking him so that he could get Johnny Gargano disqualified. Like I see why they did it, but. It's just they went from basically having Leon Ruff 1 week being the 1-2-3 kid of NXT to basically turning him and just making him look like a complete and utter joke. And I think the only way he gets salvaged is if somehow, because it looks like we're going to get in my opinion, I think we're going to get a triple threat for the North American title I see that too with Gargano, Priest, and Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff has to win. Like if me personally, if I'm going to take him seriously, he has to win, and it can't be by a fluke.
It's not happening.
Me and Giovanni are in agreement. That's not happening.
I don't think it is.
It's like our first ever Miss Money in the Bank, James Ellsworth.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
Yes. Now that was horrible. I mean, that was so bad that they had to redo the match on SmackDown.
Yeah, they realized, oh, wait, we can't have a men win the first women's Money in the Bank match. Oh, let's redo it.
Remember how much crap they got for that too?
So much crap.
Leon Ruff, they're still doing bad things.
Man, give some love to Leon Ruff. He's being put in a very terrible storyline.
I thought you were going to say he was being put in a rough storyline.
Oh god, that's bad. That's just you only get those bad puns here on the Junkyard.
You heard it here first.
So let's move on to AEW.
Actually, you know what? Real quick, one more thing on NXT. How about that match between Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley?
Yes.
I mean, we can't talk about NXT without talking about that. That was, in my opinion, that was probably the best match I saw all this week.
The saving grace of that entire episode.
Yes, absolutely.
If you can rewind or fast forward through everything, just watch that match.
Yes, that's like the one thing. If you're going to watch anything from NXT, is watch that match. And I don't know if you guys saw the same thing, but it looked like we kind of got a little bit of a send off at the end of that match. So maybe.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that was Rhea Ripley's send off. I wouldn't be surprised to see her maybe rear her head at Survivor Series in one of the women's matches.
I love Rhea Ripley. She's got a different look about her. She works and she looks very believable when she works.
Yep.
Like if you see a really Rhea Ripley match, you're thinking you're looking at a fight, right? She brings it. God, looking at the women's rosters, maybe SmackDown. I think she would do great in SmackDown.
Yeah,
well, they need her more on SmackDown because I think Raw's women's division is actually. I think Raw's women's division is clearly better than SmackDown. So I think Rhea Ripley is right now needed more on the SmackDown side. So
yes, I would love to see her with Bailey, Banks. I think we've got a lot of good potential down there.
What about possibly maybe her being like a heavy or a bodyguard for Carmella?
That would be good. Kind of give Mella a little backup and kind of turn on her whenever Mella gets the rub.
Yeah. So maybe we could see something like that down the line.
Listen to us booking for WWE Creative. We are available.
Yeah. I believe they're still, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're still looking for a lead creative writer.
Oh, I'm sure Russo's willing.
Okay, bro.
Bro.
All right. We've been broed out. We good to move on to AEW now, guys?
No, I think we're good.
You got it, bro.
All right. Let's talk about the first match on Dynamite. You had the Young Bucks versus Top Flight. Now, I have heard some things about Top Flight and like other groups, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't watch Dark. I'm sorry. I don't have time, or I just forget.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people feel that way too. But these guys, and I know Giovanni had a hot take or 2 cents or whatever he does in our group. He says they are the future of AEW tag team wrestling in general. I have to agree with that. These guys looked amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I thought so young.
Yeah. And I thought the package they did telling their story before the match.
That was a great package.
That was real.
Yes.
Thanks for saying that. Oh, wait, you weren't talking about my package. Never mind.
Oh, God.
Off the rails.
But no, in all seriousness, though, that package that was kind of telling the story, it was really great. And I think it was a great way to kind of get the crowd behind Top Flight. And I just thought it was really cool that basically they got into they trained with the Young Bucks. They trained with the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
And I liked how I believe it was Excalibur alluded, to that, during the match and stuff. And it's just the fact that, they're like, tagging the Young Bucks on Twitter. And I think it was Matt's like, yeah, just send us a a video or something. That's basically how they got noticed by AEW. It's just they reached out to the Young Bucks on Twitter, and that. So I think it was a great story. One of my friends, really good friends, Sean, was in another chat that I'm in on Facebook, me and a couple of friends, and he's just like, man, these guys can go. And when I got home and I watched this match, I was wow. I'm totally all in on Top Flight, and I definitely expect them to be a Top Flight tag team here in the near future. See what I did there?
Ooh, I see.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on that, like Spencer was saying, it was one of my 2 cents of last week. Top Flight, man, you have the continuity. They trust each other at such a high level. Their moves look real crisp right now. And they're only 19 and 20?
1921, or something like that. They're a couple years apart. I mean, they're young. I mean, and again,
dude, get out of here. Those guys, they're going to have not only the opportunity, because at the stage that they're on now, they're not only going to have the opportunity to wow everybody, but they're going to have a consistent place to do it. Right. I think what we've seen with them on their debut could be akin to seeing the Hardy Boys start up, seeing the Young Bucks start up. I think, guys, we honestly saw the next great tag team kick off in AEW.
And you're
throwing the Motor City Machine Guns with that, because I mean, I think some of their basically they remind me they're a hybrid of the Young Bucks and the Machine Guns, and I mean, really, I mean that that's like a great compliment because both those teams are just phenomenal.
Right. And I think when these guys go, they're great. And one team I can't wait to see them fight is Private Party, because I think those two teams are the future of tag team wrestling, both of them.
Yes.
That is going to be a barn burner.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but the one thing I'm actually really excited about is it looks like Top Flight's first real feud is going to be against the Hybrid too, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch those two teams go at it.
It's a high flying team, TH2.
Yeah, giving them some screen time finally.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens with that. We also had Thunder Rosa challenging Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship, and that was a pretty good match too. I think their first match, I would say, was probably better. But then also we had some interference from one dentist, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, attacking Thunder Rosa. So it looks like we're gonna have Britt Baker feud with Thunder Rosa, and I think that was because of some tweets from Twitter. I think Britt is not happy Thunder Rosa is kind of dipping her toes into all these different projects.
Yeah.
Can I just start here, DDJ? I'm gonna take a quick one here.
My man, go for it.
I am such a fan of Thunder Rosa. Goodness, I am a fanboy. Maybe because she's from my state of Texas. Maybe it's because her face paint is badass. Maybe it's because she's been in the game only a cumulative 5 years. Right. Gentlemen, everything that she is doing, she's even looking towards making her own wrestling school soon. Right? She's doing her own little women's promotion thing as well. To only have 5 years in the business and have not only the gumption, but just the straight wherewithal to say, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to go for. On top of that, she was NWA Women's Champion. Now she's getting these feuds in AEW. She's honestly one of the hottest women wrestlers out there, just wrestlers, period.
Right.
For the way that she self-promotes, the way her brand, there is a Thunder Rosa brand, and I'm all in on it.
Yep. And I mean, and her fan base is growing leaps and bounds, and her coming to AEW has done nothing but just help her stock, which was already on the rise, even go up faster. Because I mean, clearly when she showed up on Dynamite for the first time, the crowd went crazy and stuff, but the thing is she's going to that national stage because not everybody watched, NWA Power.
Right.
Exactly.
Not maybe the people out there probably don't know her background, from her time in Lucha Underground as Cobra Moon, which, and that. So, but I mean, just all in general, her being in AEW, yeah, like you said, I loved that she, with her taking care of her brand and stuff. And I mean, I think just her being in AEW is just doing nothing but just good things for her. And again, yeah, she's clearly the hottest female wrestler out there right now in terms of, her stock and everything. And it will be the future sooner rather than later of women's wrestling overall.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then, whenever she eventually makes her decision, because I think she's just still kind of working like on a match by match basis with AEW, and then she's kind of teased she might go back to NWA or she might go to NXT. So basically, the ball is in her court, and she can do whatever because she is, like as you guys said, she's a very hot commodity. So it'll be very interesting to see where Thunder Rosa does end up. We also had a contract signing between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley.
Winter is coming.
Huh?
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. That is going to be a great match. I do think Kenny Omega will get the belt off that one because, Tony Khan says, oh, yeah, we need it for ratings. December ratings aren't great. Yes, that is definitely a case. But, if you're smart to the business and kind of know what's going on, you see the writings on the wall. Jon Moxley is going to lose the title. He's going to go have some time away with his wife, who congratulations to Renee for her and Jon Moxley are expecting. So congratulations.
Congrats from the Junkyard.
Yes. And how ironic was it or whatever, how basically everybody found out. It's just Moxley's cutting that promo. It's like, oh, yeah, I got a pregnant wife at home. And just it was all casual. Next thing you know, Renee, getting, yeah, it's true and stuff. I don't know if maybe that was the way that they wanted to let it know, but I thought that was kind of funny because I was sitting there watching. It's like, wait a minute, did I just hear what I thought I heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was my reaction to everybody in the group. I'm like, what?
But in all seriousness, though, like you said, congratulations to John and Renee. All the best, all the luck in the world and everything. And one thing I want to pose to you guys about this upcoming match on the 2nd. Do we think that this show is going to be big enough, or this match is going to be big enough that you think maybe we might see AEW crack the 1 million mark?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think because I know Jacob was really big back with Jericho a few months ago, that they were going to crack 1 million. I think they came close, but I don't think they did.
No, but they did.
They did.
Oh, that's right, they did. I'm sorry.
Yes, no, I think this for sure. I think we'll definitely crack it again.
I definitely think because they are promoting it as the biggest match in the history of Dynamite,
and it is.
It is. It's a pay-per-view match.
The one thing I like about it because it's on free TV. I don't like it because I don't feel like they're going to be able to do everything that they could do if this was a pay-per-view match.
What are you wanting, blood?
Well, maybe not.
They've bled on TNT.
I feel I'm not expecting this match to be like a gear match and stuff. And we're not going to see the barbed wire, net or the barbed wire room and stuff like me. I fully expect this match to deliver on all counts, but I hope that they get a pay-per-view rematch because I really think then they're really going to turn it up a notch or two then.
But I feel like this has the opportunity not to be a normal ending type of match where it's only 20 minutes. I think we're getting an actual 30-minute match here.
Oh, I agree. I think they're going at least 30 to 45 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take up maybe most of, if not all of the second hour on that show.
Yeah. Also, with that contract signing, Kenny did show up, but Jon Moxley didn't. He was attacked backstage. There are rumors going around that the way that Jon Moxley was positioned was similar to the tarot card, the Hanged Man. So possibly, maybe Adam Hangman Page attacked Jon Moxley. What are y'all's thoughts on that theory? And if you don't think it was Adam Hangman Page, who attacked Jon Moxley?
I could definitely see maybe I could see it, and this is why, because clearly we've seen we saw it when the Young Bucks won the tag team titles at Full Gear. like everybody come out to celebrate. And I don't know if you caught it or not, but in the entryway, you saw Hangman Page kind of looking out, like he wanted to go, but he wasn't sure and all that. Maybe he did this attack on Moxley as a way to maybe curry favor to try to get back in the good graces with Kenny Omega.
Possibility.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to say that I think he's the one that did it. But I mean, I honestly, my initial thought when I saw it I was like, oh yeah, I think I initially thought maybe Kenny jumped him backstage before he came out. And then this is like when we're going to finally see the evolution of the cleaner Kenny Omega. And, like now he's a full blown heel.
Right.
Damn it, DDJ had to take both takes.
So my official take is I don't think it was Hangman, although I could see it being positioned that way. It's in the current pick. I think it was honestly, it's going to be revealed that Kenny Omega did it.
Well, everybody from the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page who saw my tease on the 2 cents, with everybody thinking that the rumors were maybe it was Kenta who holds the briefcase for the IWGP US title that Moxley currently holds.
Right.
I know there's big swirls that everybody said, well, Kenta was in the US and it could have been him, and it could also lead to the start of the AEW NJPW feud.
Right.
And my tease on there was to listen to episode 4 of the Junkyard, which you are doing now, so thank you for making it.
Yes, thank you for listening.
I was strong on the website and saying that it was not Kenta.
Right.
I am not in the camp that believes it was Hangman. I do believe it was Kenny Omega. I think that this is going to be revealed to be Kenny, and in the moment that I felt that it was Kenny Omega, and when I was 100% certain it was Kenny Omega, was at the contract signing at the very end. Omega says, the first time you used your elbow, this time you're not getting out of it.
Yep.
To me, that's somebody who did it and is trying to say, oh, well, you know what? You're trying to chicken out, but he knows that he's the one who took him out. So, hot take. DDJ took the hot take. I was hoping he'd go Hangman. It was Kenny Omega.
I would say that I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm really not. So,
oh, I know. DDJ is our resident heel.
I know. Hey, you should give him one for old time's sakes, Javon.
Retribution.
The bird. That's not nice.
I got one more for you.
Whoa!
Oh,
he's
hey,
flicking us off and telling us to suck it. That's not.
We're
nice.
not going back to the package, DDJ. You've already been told it's nice once.
Speaking of going off the rails, we got to talk about the Inner Circle Vegas trip.
Yes.
Oh, that was 2 great packages put together, and it mirrored The Hangover, which is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It was great. All the different subtle interactions between everybody, Hager and Wardlow. They're having tension. It was basically only Jericho, MJF, and Santana that were having a good time, and then Sammy and Ortiz are just like something's up, and they don't really buy it
until the alcohol started flowing.
And then Conan came with the Magic Dragon.
Yes. But I mean, man, though, it's just, again, they kind of, one of the things I really liked about that was when Jericho and MJF were at the bar, they were kind of harkening back to the late dinner debonair when, like, it came to ordering the drinks, like, bartender, give me this, bartender, give me this, and next thing they settled on working.
Yeah.
But like it was like 100% proof, like grain alcohol. I mean, and they both, and I'm almost positive. And I'm no alcohol expert or connoisseur by any means stretch of the imagination. There's no way they could have chugged that stuff like that.
No, that was water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely water.
But man, though, what that led to afterwards with the hotel rooms being trashed and then seeing Swoggle in a diaper.
DDJ, let me ask you a question, DDJ. Did you know that I was actually in the episode 2? That I had my tiger there, and it almost bit somebody, DDJ, and they said that I can't have my tiger no more.
Again, I'm starting to struggle. Was that Mike Tyson trying to do the water boy, or the water boy trying to do
That was the one and only heavyweight champ of the world, Mike Tyson, Iron Mike.
Catch him this upcoming weekend on the pay-per-view when he steps back into the ring to fight Roy Jones Jr. By the way, have you seen the pictures of Mike Tyson, like how jacked he's looking?
Dude, Mike Tyson looks like he will whoop your ass.
So, Javon, I would stop making fun of Mike Tyson so he doesn't find out and whip your ass.
You know what?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I love you, Giovanni, but man, if Mike Tyson sees this and he comes looking for you, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
Brother, if Mike Tyson comes looking for me, I'd gladly take that whooping.
Just tell him to plug the Junkyard or Pro Wrestling Junkies at least.
Exactly. Michael, before you break my jaw, please say Pro Wrestling Junkies. No, bam.
Oh, God. I would pop for that for sure. Okay, I think we have one more thing we need to discuss.
Yeah, Spencer, this is your moment in the sun, so take it.
Okay, so our main event was Cody and Darby Allin, the new TNT champion, versus Team Taz, consisting of Brian Cage and Absolute Ricky Starks.
Former guest on the Mark Out.
Thank you, Dennis. Great match. I would definitely go back and watch it. Brian Cage is an absolute freak. That avalanche drill claw was amazing.
Yes.
That I don't want to focus on that match at all. We need to focus on the after effects. And if you've been listening to the Junkyard, you will know exactly where I'm going.
Hey, Spencer, real quick before you do it, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Retribution, asshole. So Will Hobbs,
I deserve that one.
You do. Okay, Will Hobbs, he comes out. He has a steel chair. Looks like he's gonna wreck house. Then he picks up the FTW championship, and okay, maybe he's like, okay, maybe I might go after it. He picks it up, folds it like the wrestlers do, and clocks Cody Rhodes in the face, officially making Will Hobbs a member of Team Taz and the heel turn, which I've been calling for months. I know my shit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we just lost all of our listeners. Sorry, everybody.
Nope. I'm
Way
taking
to
this
kill our
moment.
demographic.
Told you. And
Chris
Team
Cantor,
Taz,
the demo god, Spencer, or number 11, Spencer Cantor is the demo killer.
Demo killer.
Demo killer. That's actually pretty good. I like that. But no. So
T-shirt alert.
T-shirt alert. Well, yeah, one day we'll get T-shirts. So now that I've had my moment in the sun, and I basically said, nah, boo-boo, I was right, y'all were wrong. What are your thoughts on Will Hobbs joining Team Taz?
Yeah.
You know what? You do whatever you got to do to get yourself ahead and get yourself noticed. And if Will Hobbs felt that this is what he needed to do to take himself to the next level, I'm all for it, because he's clearly shown he's going to be here for the long haul.
Yeah, he's going to be there for the long haul. He kind of matches the body look of Team Taz, one half of Team Taz at least, not Ricky Stark so much. But I could see him balancing out another enforcer role for them. So, I mean, that's good for you, Will Hobbs. Biggest mistake you've ever made, but it's all right.
Oh, God.
But you know what, though? And one thing that I also want to add to this is, God damn it, how great is Taz on the mic?
He's great.
He's killer.
Yeah. I mean, it's just he goes out there every week with that microphone, and he has just been killing it as of late. And it's so great to see that, he's getting a chance to do what he does best. I love hearing him on commentary, but man, just him as, with a live mic cutting promos, it's just, man, he's one of the best right now.
Yes.
And that
I don't think Jovan has any words right now. He's just like,
he's heartbroken.
I'm just, Team Taz sucked the life out of me with that Will Hobbs.
But let's also, okay, so we had, not only did Team Taz gain a member. We also saw the reunion of a certain trio on Dynamite.
That's right.
Very true.
Yes, we saw the reunion of the Death Triangle.
That's right.
And that's and it is great because it's like, that because you had that match with I'm sorry. It was just in general with the match. I was going to say Penta and Phoenix, but that was the previous week. But we had a really good match between Pac and Eddie.
It was okay. Pac was rusty as hell. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you can see he hadn't been in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, again, though, it's just you kind of knew something was up when, like Phoenix come out and then Pentagon comes out and he's almost like, what do I do? Do I go with my best friend and Eddie Kingston, or do I go with my brother? And it just went out to prove that blood was thicker than water. He stuck by his brother, and
it was so nice because I thought Penta was gonna blast him with the chair for a second.
I thought so too. And
then he turns around and goes, "I needed my younger brother."
It's great to see, and I like this the fact that it looks like we're going to be seeing Pac and the Lucha Brothers again, versus Eddie Kingston and then the Butcher and the Blade, and I think that is going to be wild.
That's going to be a good feud.
Yes,
can't forget the bunny. Hello, yeah. So I think we are finally done with Weekend Wrestling. I think
pause for the cause.
Pause for the cause.
I sure would hate to have you say that was in the Weekend Wrestling, and you don't even acknowledge your stablemate there in the Dark Order.
Oh my God! Thank you. See, I was so excited about Will Hobbs and having my moment in the sun. We actually did talk about this right before.
You had 2 moments this week.
I know. I had 2 moments. Man, I'm feeling good. My girl, not my girl, but just basically oh God, no more singing. So it looks like on the orders of Brody Lee, we hope you get better soon, sir. On the orders of Brody Lee, Anna Jay, number 99 of the Dark Order, not the star of the show, the Queen Slayer, is getting a crack at Sheeta for her AEW Women's Championship. Now, I want to believe that they will be smart and put it on Anna Jay, but right now, and I've been saying it, she's not winning. Sheeta will retain. Britt Baker will take that title off her eventually. But holy shit, I will pop so damn loud if they put it on Anna Jay.
Yeah, I stick by my statement that I said when we did our predictions for a full year. I honestly, if Sheeta drops the title to anyone, it's going to be to Britt Baker.
I will stick with that as well. But congratulations, Anna Jay, who just celebrated her 1-year wrestling anniversary as well this past 2 days or so.
Yes, boys, I would like to call for a fandangoing session.
Fandangoing for.
Now, if you're listening to the audio, we're fandangoing when something awesome happens. So, Anna Jay, we are happy you had your 1-year anniversary. Now go win that title, girl.
Get him.
You can stop fandangoing, DDJ. Extendoing fandangoing.
Fandangoing.
Yeah.
That's a shirt.
That probably is a shirt. We got a lot of shirts probably from this episode and past episodes. Okay. I think now that I remembered that, are we done with the Weekend Wrestling? Have you said all your piece?
Let it rest in peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, it is now time for this week's weekly roundtable. We are on episode number 4 of the Junkyard. A little delay there. So if you know anything about wrestling, you know what this means. We are going to talk about the 4 Horsemen. Now, these 2 gentlemen know a little bit more about the 4 Horsemen than I do. I've seen some of their matches and stuff. So, and yes, we have a Ric Flair shirt. Jovan, what are you rocking?
Oh man, don't put me out like that, Spencer. For those of you who don't have access to the video feed, I am wearing my Arn and Tully Brainbuster shirt. For those of you who do have the video on, who have access to the video stream, don't tell the others.
But yeah, so I'm going to let these two take the leads on this one and give me a brief history on the Four Horsemen for our viewers that are not, as well informed about them and kind of the creation of the group.
All right. You want me to start, or do you want to start, Giovanni?
Go ahead and start them out, and we'll roll them out.
So, the story of the Four Horsemen begins as this: you have four guys. You have Ric Flair. You have Arn Anderson. You have Ole Anderson. You have Tully Blanchard. Four guys that are, clearly, the top heels in the business. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the birth of the Horsemen came when they only had so much time for to do promos, so they decided to throw all four guys, just in one promo shot, and just the rest is history from there. The original super group, if it wasn't for this group, we wouldn't see groups like the NWO, we wouldn't see DX, we wouldn't see Evolution, we wouldn't have seen Fortune, we wouldn't have seen Retribution, which that probably would have been a good thing. but no, in all seriousness, though, this was the original super group, and it's just, to be honest with you, this is one of those times where it's just nothing tops the original. I mean, just the fact, everywhere the Horsemen went, they drew money.
Mm-hmm.
They drew the ire of the fans everywhere.
Yes.
But these guys could go. These were the kind of guys that they would talk all the shit in the world, but they could back it up.
Yes.
And it's because they were a team. They were a group. I mean, they did things that you never saw. I mean, one of my favorite Horseman memories was and I saw this for the first time, I want to say maybe about 15 years ago or something, on an old RF videotape that one of my best friends had and stuff. And it was them when they basically followed Dusty Rhodes from the office, or on his way to the office, and they jumped him in the parking lot and they broke his wrist. And it's just stuff like that. It was just so good. Then you have the time when they turned on, and we'll probably get into this a little bit more and stuff, so I don't want to say too much now. But I mean, it's just, there are so many guys whose career was made because they were a member of the Horsemen. I mean, you have your original four. You have Barry Windham. You had, Lex Luger. You even had Sting for a brief period of time as a member of the Horsemen. Then you had your guys like Paul Roma. And even though I'm a diehard Bears fan, I love my Chicago Bears, and this guy here is one of my favorite Chicago Bears of all time. It's sad his skills couldn't translate from the gridiron to the ring, and that's Steve McMichael and stuff. So, but I mean, again, it's just the Four Horsemen is, and I'm going to steal a line from Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Business. The Four Horsemen were, and to me, honestly, they still are the gold standard when it comes to factions in the world of pro wrestling.
Yes.
Giovanni?
I actually didn't mind Mongo.
I didn't either. He wasn't a very good wrestler.
Yeah. He's really cool on the convention side, too, if you guys ever catch him.
Awesome. I've met him a couple times. He's a great guy.
So shout out Mongo. I love you. But yeah, I mean, you've got iterations of the Four Horsemen, like DDJ said. He had a lot of people who came in and came out. The original four, those are all Hall of Famers, you guys. The original Four Horsemen, bona fide Hall of Famers. Now you start getting into the other iteration of the Horsemen when Mongo was there. Dean Malenko was a Horseman. Chris Benoit was a Horseman. You kind of get to see a trend. Pillman. Brian Pillman, Lex Luger. You see a trend that when you get put into this group, you're not just anybody. These aren't, the bottom barrel guys. These are the cream of the crop that rises to the top,
right?
That they put in the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen's whole history is littered with Hall of Famers, and that's the kind of mystique and air you get whenever someone mentions the Four Horsemen, because it's not only the legacy that comes with the name, but just all the wrestlers that had built that name. You guys, it kind of gives that air of invincibility of just having that four. That four goes a long way in the wrestling world.
Right.
And it's built off of the backs of Hall of Famers. So, I mean, we could start getting into some of the factions that spurred from the Four Horsemen, because we know Ric Flair loved to redo stuff and go to different companies and make other factions and keep trying to recreate the Four Horsemen.
Right. So, yeah, the Four Horsemen, they are probably regarded as the greatest faction of all time, and I think you guys would definitely agree with that.
Real quick before you move on, let's also, because we were talking about it earlier, if it wasn't for the Four Horsemen, we probably wouldn't have War Games.
Right.
Correct.
So, yeah, Four Horsemen, greatest faction of all time, probably gave us one of the most creative and violent matches of all time. As Giovanni alluded to, they have led to the formation of different groups. And one member of the Horsemen has actually been involved in these groups as well. And that would be, first off, Evolution in WWE with Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Batista. And then you had Fortune when he went to TNA. He brought in AJ Styles, I think Kazarian, and then Beer Money, right?
Beer Money.
Yeah, they were the original four, but
Bobby Roode.
They expanded that group a little bit.
Right.
I believe,
did they bring in Matt Morgan?
What's that?
I know there was somebody got in that was weird on that one.
I know Desmond Wolfe was there.
Desmond Wolfe, a.k.a. Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
I believe Matt Morgan was there. I love the blueprint. I believe when AJ Styles was out or something, I think Christopher Daniels stepped in for a little bit, was like kind of like AJ's sub.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think it. And then if I'm not mistaken, I wasn't for some reason, I want to say they had someone else that was like a bigger guy that I can't know, but I feel like that there was someone else. But I mean, again, yeah,
there was a weird one that I can't remember who it was, and I think they won their way on. Like they beat somebody up, or they did something to get in the group after it was established. Because the original Fortune had to win their way in, like AJ and Kazarian, and then of course Beer Money just came in because they're Beer Money.
Yeah,
but I think somebody else had like that beat them in and you're in. Someone did like a job for Ric Flair and took somebody out. I can't remember who it was for the life of me, but I know there was another one.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. That just kind of tells you people are not really remembering Fortune that much. I mean, you remember like the first members, but other than that, they're kind of forgettable. But let's kind of touch on these two groups and kind of talking about them and kind of how the Four Horsemen impacted their formation and kind of their legacy. You had first Evolution, as I was talking about. That was created from Triple H and Ric Flair, because I think in a documentary, I think it was the one talking about like Ruthless Aggression era.
Aggression one, yeah.
So Triple H wanted, because he saw Ric Flair was struggling, he wanted him to get back to the Ric Flair of old, and he wanted to create a big super group. And they wanted to bring in young stars. One was Randy Orton, who was a very big name and second generation talent. And then it was going to be Mark Jindrak for the longest time, but then they eventually went Dave Batista. So what are your thoughts on Evolution and kind of how the Four Horsemen led kind of to the creation of this group, since, Ric Flair, being a founding member of the Four Horsemen, was in this group as well?
Well, it's pretty much well known, that, in the business, and had been that way, is Triple H was such a huge Ric Flair fan and basically idolized him and stuff. And I think this was he's mentioned about Triple H kind of wanting Ric Flair to get his groove, trying to help Ric Flair get his groove back and, get that confidence instilled in him. And I think Evolution was his homage to the Horsemen. And honestly, and I'll take this as a hot take you want, but I think Evolution is the closest thing we've had to the Four Horsemen out of any of these groups, factions, whatever,
right,
that have come since the Horsemen. I think And for what it was, I liked it. Like I enjoyed Evolution. I thought one of my favorite moments of that group was that night. I think it was at Vengeance 2003 when they all came out after Triple H had just won back the World Heavyweight title.
Yes.
All came out to the entryway and they all had the gold. Like
Yeah.
they fulfilled the prophecy long before the Undisputed Era. And I just thought that was just such a cool visual. Then that I mean, you had Triple H with the world title. You had Orton, who had just won the Intercontinental. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had all just won titles that night because you had Triple H just coming back to win the world title.
Yeah.
Orton had won the Intercontinental title against RVD, and then Batista and Ric Flair got inserted into the tag team turmoil match to come out of that with the tag team titles. And I think that was after Batista had lost to Shawn Michaels earlier in that night.
Yep.
Match and stuff. But I mean, it was a great group and stuff. And I mean, again, if it wasn't for the Horsemen, we wouldn't have any of these factions. I'm not just talking about Evolution and Fortune. Like I mentioned earlier, we wouldn't have DX. We wouldn't have had the NWO. We wouldn't have had, in my opinion, one of the most underrated factions of all time, the Dangerous Alliance. And that's
deep cut. That's a bit of an unappreciated, I guess you could say, faction.
Yeah, and I like they're like, I'll be honest with you, behind the Horsemen and like I think one of the questions I've discussed or things I want to bring up with you guys a little bit later is your favorite iteration of the Horsemen, because I have mine. But like the Horsemen as a whole are like my favorite faction of all time. But honestly, the Dangerous Alliance is number 2. I think
Nice.
You had the mouthpiece and Paulie Dangerously. You had the heavy hitter with Rick Rude. You had your tag team, and Arn and Bobby. You had your goon and Larry the Cruncher Zbyszko, and then you just had your technician and Steve Austin. That group was just about as good as any group that you could get in terms of what a faction should be doing in that. So.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna piggyback on your hot take, man. I definitely do think that the Evolution was the closest that we've gotten to the Horsemen. I think even with Flair kind of being in some of the other iterations, such as the Fortune, I feel like Evolution kind of got that Flair feeling, that actual feeling of having the Four Horsemen feel to it,
Right.
And like I stated with the greatness of the Horsemen, the mystique was that everybody were bona fide legends that were coming out of those groups. And in Evolution, I think it's without a shadow of a doubt, Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H, those guys are future Hall of Famers.
And look at what being in Evolution did for the careers of Orton and Batista, because Flair was already established, obviously.
Yep, he was a made man.
Yeah, and then Triple H was, pretty much established himself too, but that was what I think Orton and Batista needed to launch their careers, because if it wasn't for Evolution, they may have eventually gotten to the top of the mountain, but I don't think it would have happened as quickly as it did for the both of them.
Exactly. It made their career.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. So the Four Horsemen, greatest faction of all time, basically. So all these other companies, like WWE did Evolution, and then you got Fortune. NXT has done kind of Undisputed Era, right? And then now, like in the past years, you've had the NXT women and just women in general are known as the Four Horsemen of the WWE. Yeah, the Horsewomen. You got Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, and then you have the Four Horsewomen of MMA. So, why do you think all these different companies and everybody wants to have like their version of the Four Horsemen or their own faction, but knowing that they will never be as great as the Horsemen? Why do they always kind of want to copy, and if not, just do their own thing?
Well, so a couple different perspectives I maybe can shed on this and stuff. You have a lot of times wrestling is a copycat business,
right?
Yes,
something that worked somewhere else that drew money or whatever, and then in the end, it comes down to what it boils all down to is money,
right?
They want to have that group that they figured, what, let's make our own Horseman group, because the Horsemen made money. We need to find something that can make us that kind of money,
right?
But also too, a lot of times, a lot of these, people that, that do run these companies and, do these things are in charge of the booking. They were fans of the original Horsemen. Again, Triple H,
Yes.
and being one of them. And obviously someone like, let's say, we'll throw Tony Khan, who's a diehard wrestling fan, and, all these other, it's just, again, a lot of times imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
So, and again, I think so. I think it's a little bit of that. It's also about finding that group that can help them make some money. But in the end, I think it's more or less, I think everybody wants to have the group because I think in some way, shape, or form, they want to pay homage to the ones that started it all. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah, I 110% agree with the reasoning is mostly the homage, right? You're paying respect to those who came before you. Wrestling is very much a copycat sport, man. No, it's really rare that you see somebody with an original gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan, of course, yeah, that was superstar Billy Graham. Ric Flair, maybe a little bit of the original Nature Boy and, Gorgeous George mixed in there. But Rogers.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of, mixing and mingling that happens, and it's all people paying homage to what they liked when they were growing up or who they watched, and the biggest faction or the biggest names kind of get these hollowed feelings where you're like, wow, this is, in that rare air to be mentioned in these kind of groups.
Right.
And a lot of times, you just want that. You want to be able to say, I was a part of something that was at least kind of like the Horsemen. And I think a lot of the reason they do that is just to at least try to say that, hey, it's a milestone marker. We had a Horseman too, right?
Right.
Also, I do think going to the MMA, the 4 horsewomen of the MMA, that was such a missed opportunity.
Yep.
I would have loved to seen the 4 MMA horsewomen against the 4 WWE horsewomen. That should have been a match.
It definitely should have.
I want to say that the reason why that probably didn't happen was because of the fact that, this is not a knock on them but I mean, I don't think it would have been that good of a match because, we haven't really seen them since Raw Underground was dropped, but Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, they've got a lot of work that they still need to get done before I think they're ready to be weekly fixtures on NXT. I just think if you would have thrown them in there, I don't know if you would have gotten whatever you would have been able to put out the product that everybody was hoping you would have put out. And again, it's not a knock on Marina and Jessamine because they are training every day. They are doing what they can to get better. Just, I think it would have seemed too rushed, and I just don't think you would have gotten the match that like something of that magnitude truly deserves.
Okay. So staying on that take, and I have 2 things I want to ask you guys. One, do you think like after Becky Lynch comes back and Ronda Rousey, if she ever comes back to the WWE, 1, do you think we ever get 4 horsewomen of WWE versus the 4 horsewomen of MMA match? And then 2, so you have the 4 horsewomen of WWE, and there's always been talks of having them. They did have a match at NXT, a Fatal 4-Way. Do you ever see those 4 women main eventing like a WrestleMania?
I saw Giovanni shaking his head about the first no in the first direction about seeing that 4 horsewomen, versus 4 horsewomen match when Becky comes back, and I agree with that because I just think at this point in time, I think that ship has sailed.
Yes,
the 4 horsewomen of the WWE have really, I think they're all at that stage in their careers where really they don't need each other.
Yep.
Right.
And stuff, because they're all clearly doing their own thing. Now, do I see, but to answer your second question, do I see could those 4 horsewomen be the main event of WrestleMania? And I, without a shadow of a doubt, I think they absolutely could, if they decide to go that route, that would be a WrestleMania main event worthy match.
Right.
So on the first question, I'm going to say a hard no. And the reason it's a hard no is I honestly, in the bottom of my heart, feel that Ronda Rousey is not going to wrestle again. I don't see it. You can't convince me of otherwise. But I think she's honestly done with the wrestling world. I think toxic fans may have gotten to her a little bit.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, us fans, we could be a little crazy at times, but you got to have thick skin to be a wrestling fan and wrestler in general. I mean, we're some crazy people. We take a lot of crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fans got to her a little bit, and you kind of already see that she's shaky when people aren't 100% with her, because when she lost her title in the UFC, everybody turned on her, and she went to the WWE. She came to the WWE, and everybody turned on her. She left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't think we're going to get that matchup. For one reason being, Ronda's not doing it, and another reason, like DDJ said, the WWE Horsewomen don't necessarily need each other to spotlight now. I mean, they're all established. They're made ladies. They're the tops of their respective brands, and
Right.
of what they do, they are the bar. On that note, if they all were to go against each other, that is definitely a main event worthy match. I mean, geez Louise, Bailey and Sasha put on some amazing Iron Woman match.
Right.
Charlotte is always a go. She's got legendary genes, literally.
Right.
And you throw Becky Lynch in there, who right before the pregnancy, that was the man. Like,
Yeah.
she was so over, and she could do no wrong. Mind you, she never lost that belt.
Nope.
So I could see all four of them tearing down the house as a main event without any issue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The only thing is, for everything, please do not have that match in like the Thunderdome. Wait until fans can come back.
Yep.
Do not waste that match on this. It deserves so much more. That would be my only gripe if they ever decided to pull the trigger early. So we've been talking about, different iterations of the Four Horsemen and kind of how every brand sort of wants to have their version of the Four Horsemen. Now, the newest brand, AEW, they actually have two members of the Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Yep.
And there have been so many teases from so many people. Cody Rhodes holding up the Four, mentioning Four. FTR working with Tully Blanchard. Sean Spears working with Tully Blanchard. Them kind of holding up, I think, like 3.
Something like this or something.
Right. And they keep teasing it. So I want to know from you guys, do we maybe sometime next year eventually see AEW's version of the Four Horsemen in some way? And if we do, who makes up the group?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And I'd rather take a hot take real quick and say that this may be one of the best iterations that we get. Reasoning is, every iteration has always had one horseman, Ric Flair.
Right.
This one, you're getting 2. You're getting Tully, and you're getting Arn, the Brain Busters.
Right.
Now, AEW already has their version of the Brain Busters, FTR. They're in.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes, he is a part of what Arn has been doing. Arn has been his coach. Unfortunately, for everybody out there, Cody Rhodes is not in, so we're going to cut him out already. Cody Rhodes, you're out. Sorry.
See you, Cody.
Sean Spears with the blackjack glove and the ties to Tully Blanchard. Sean Spears, you are in.
All right.
My last member of the 4, when it comes, is somebody that I think deserves it. Somebody who everybody loves to put in their conspiracy theories about whatever they're doing. It's always this person. Gentlemen, I present you with the last member of the Four Horsemen, Mr. Adam Hangman Page.
Let's I'm just gonna jump right in and say I'm gonna agree with everything that Giovanni just said. I was going back and forth between, Hangman and Cody, but like I said, I like I said, I kind of like Cody more because, and this actually just popped in my head. I think it makes more sense to put Hangman as the fourth member of that group.
Yes.
And you have Cody feud with him because you got that whole Rhodes versus the Horsemen again.
Yes.
And like
Dusty will roll in his grave if his son joins the Horsemen.
So I'm gonna go with what Giovanni said. That'd be my four: Hangman, Sean, and the FTR. And then you have a super baby face Cody feuding with them, and it's like it's 1985 all over again.
Oh, here goes Spencer. Spencer's got something in the cannon.
Yes, I do. Here is my hot take. Jovan, you have...
He calls Will Hobbs joining Team Taz, and all of a sudden he thinks he's the shit.
He's the take guy now.
Oh, I mean, I am the shit. So, Jovan and Dennis, you guys have 3 of the 4 members correct. That would be FTR and Sean Spears. While Hangman is a fantastic pick for this group, he will be a huge babyface on his own. The man who will fill that spot will be Cody Rhodes. Dusty will roll in his grave because this will be the biggest heel turn of all time. Finally giving us heel Cody Rhodes, what we've been wanting for so long.
You know what? Honestly, at this point in time, I don't know if I want to heel Cody Rhodes.
I want it. I'm tired of him as babyface.
I just, because again, I don't, like I said, because obviously it looks like we were getting to a point where it seemed like all the elite was going to turn heel. And I mean, there really weren't any. I mean, you still need that top baby face and stuff. And I just, like I said, I think Hangman eventually will be that guy. But I think right now, like I said, I just think Cody Rhodes is your top baby face. And again, it's just for the nostalgia people out there, including myself and, obviously including Giovanni, I think
yes,
it would make perfect sense for them to go this route. And then, like you said, because again, you're bringing back it's going full circle,
guys. Cody Rhodes, I'm a big time Cody Rhodes fan, and if you've been listening to the Junkyard, you already know this. And there's still that open challenge. So if the junkies out there raise the money, I will tattoo the Cody Rhodes emblem on my body, not my neck. Now
you were getting it tattooed on your left ass cheek or something.
I'm not doing ass cheeks. I want to see it. I might do it like on a shoulder or on an arm, but I'm not doing the neck.
Did you get a tramp stamp?
I'm not getting a tramp stamp. Cody Rhodes skull. That would be horrible, dude. To get a crack, and it's just like, what's that? Anyway, like I was gonna say, it seems like Cody Rhodes has been dipping his toe in that heel pool.
Yeah.
And we had the jump in the deep end when he came out with the black hair, and then that was so negatively received, and everybody's like, what the hell? Who is this? AEW is not ready for a heel Cody.
Nope.
AEW right now needs that passionate Cody Rhodes, that babyface, that clean-cut babyface who has gone out there and told everybody this is going to succeed, and it's going to succeed because, damn it, we're going to make it succeed. They're not ready for him to turn yet.
No, do you want to know why he's going to turn? Because, yes, he has done a great job as babyface, and he is helping these younger talents get over to become bigger baby faces. What bigger way to make new stars and get bigger baby faces for AEW than turning your biggest baby face on the roster heel, like a la not on the same level, but kind of a la Hulk Hogan, and having these younger talents and all these other people get over facing this super group.
I don't know, man. I think you could get over with Cody Rhodes just being Cody Rhodes. Darby did it.
Yeah, you got a point there. So I think it'll definitely be interesting. And believe me, if I get this, then I'm right. You thought Will Hobbs was bad? Oh, boy, you people will be in for one.
It'll be a whole episode.
Sabbatical, if that's the case. Because
yep. You better get your Bud Light Limes ready because it's going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, so DDJ, you alluded to it earlier. Favorite iteration of the Horsemen. What would be your pick for that?
So my favorite iteration of the Horsemen is Ric Flair, it's Arn Anderson, it's Tully Blanchard, and it's Barry Windham.
Oh.
Just because, I mean, you had Flair, who was your main guy. You had, Arn and Tully, who were your tag team, and you had Windham, who was the second in command. He was your heavy, and for a guy that big, that dude back in the day could go. I mean, there was a time, and again, I alluded to earlier when we were talking about Evolution, that visual of, all four members of Evolution holding up the belts. There was a time back in the NWA when the Horsemen had all the gold. You had Flair with the world title, you had Windham with the U.S. title, and you had Arn and Tully with the tag titles. I mean, that right there, I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the only iteration of the Horsemen to ever have possession of all the major titles at the time. And I mean, again, it's just like all four of those guys are like amongst my favorites. Like I said, Flair and Arn Anderson are in my top 10. And I just Barry Windham is just a guy for his size, man. That guy could go in any type of match you needed it to. You needed him to go 60 minutes, he could do it, no problem. If you needed him to get into a bloody brawl with, Dusty Rhodes or someone, he could do it, And I mean, also too, one of the greatest heel turns in history was when Barry Windham turned on Lex Luger to join the Horsemen.
DDJ, we must be on the same wavelength tonight, because as much as I do love the original Horsemen, Ole to me never really seemed to fit that feeling of the Horsemen. But Barry Windham, God, everything you just said is the reason why he's in my favorite iteration of the Horsemen, and it's that one small change that just sent him over the top.
Yep.
All right, I would probably be in agreement too, because like when I think of the Horsemen, I kind of sometimes forget Ole Anderson. So I think with Barry Windham being in that group, I would agree it's a three-way tie. I think that is our favorite iteration of the four Horsemen.
Yep. Guys, if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, please chime in with your thoughts. Let us know on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook group. Do you agree with us, or do you have a different version of the Horsemen you like? And if so, we'd love to hear your thoughts as to why.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, just final thoughts on the Horsemen in general and kind of just the future of the Horsemen in the business.
I got one quick little thing, and I think it sums it up best. The four Horsemen, often imitated but never duplicated.
Man, that's good. Man, that's good. That's a hell of a mic drop.
That is.
Damn it! I'm gonna let DDJ have it. That was perfect.
For those that are listening, Joe Vaughn is basically just walking away. He's like, "I'm done." He just won the rap. He just won the rap battle.
Shout out to Jacob.
Oh yeah. So guys, four Horsemen, often imitated, never duplicated. I don't think we can top that anyway. So I think it's time to move on. And guys, I'm in need of some edumacation. All right, so now time for class with Professor Giovanni Hotty, El Guapo Hotty, actually.
El Guapo Hotty.
Yep, and Professor DDJ. Now, last week, I swerved y'all big time by picking The Undertaker when he was like, oh, no, I'm going to pick Matt Hardy. No, he's going to pick Eddie Guerrero. No, I picked The Undertaker.
Wait, before you actually tell us who, do you want us to, because I know you asked us in a chat earlier to maybe write down or elaborate on who we think you're going to pick?
If you're paying attention, I'm not going to swerve you this time. You kind of know where I'm going. And I would like... Well, you kind of took my thunder there. I don't even have anything to torture you with. I'll figure something out. Will Hobbs. Oh, that's a new one.
It's worse than a curse word on the Junkyard.
But guys,
every time Will Hobbs is mentioned, Spencer's ego grows a little bit more.
It's already pretty big to begin with.
That's what she said.
Damn
No, she
straight.
didn't say that.
All right.
Go on.
All right, let's get through this. Guys, I want to know, and before we begin, I want to know your favorite matches from the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. But before we begin, it wouldn't be right if I didn't get some woo impressions. So, DDJ, give us a woo.
Woo!
All right.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's kind of bad. Giovanni.
Woo!
All right, I guess I'll try one.
He said Ric Flair, not Charlotte Flair.
Damn.
All right. Woo!
All right, you know what? I'm gonna give the nod to Spencer on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him have it again. Dang it.
Have your moment of sun. This is your night, Spencer.
This is his night.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have such a big head by the end of this. So we're gonna lead it off with whoever wants to, because I'm not sure who. Jovan?
Yes.
All right, Jovan, give us some great Ric Flair matches to watch.
There's only a handful of times that you can have a great match with somebody. And you kind of have I don't want to say decade, but maybe an era-defining feud. And that feud was the Nature Boy Ric Flair and one son of a plumber, Dusty Rhodes. I'm going Dusty Flair, Starrcade, 85? 5?
I think it was. Well, they fought at 84 and 85. So
I think 85 was the better one.
yeah, because 84 was when I believe whoever the referee was some boxer, I can't remember, but like stopped the match because I think Dusty was bleeding too much or something like that.
Yes. Starrcade 85.
Nice. It's nice.
It's a good way to start.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, you talk about a feud that defined an era in professional wrestling, and Flair versus Rhodes definitely did that for the mid 80s. I'm going to kind of play off of that, and I'm going to talk about a feud that defined an era in the late 1980s, and that is Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, good
I'm
match.
going to go with match number 2 in their trilogy, and this match is actually my favorite match of all time. It is from Clash of the Champions number 6. It's Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Steamboat went into this match as a champion. It was 2 out of 3 falls, and they went, I think if I'm not mistaken, they went like almost an hour. I think it was like 55 minutes. And for television wrestling at the time, 55-minute matches were like an anomaly, and you just never heard of it. And just, man, it's just back and forth, and just, God, just the false finishes, the near falls and everything. And just, you know, all of a sudden, you know, just Steamboat pulling out a win in like almost an hour. It's just, God, that match just had me going just from beginning to end. And just from the first time I saw it back, you know, on the WWE, watching, you know, via the WWE network, and just like that match, it's just one of those that grew on me. And the more I watched it, the more I got to really appreciate just how good both of those guys were. And honestly, I say Ric Flair is my favorite of all time. Ricky Steamboat's my second favorite. So to see that match is like to feature my 2 favorite wrestlers of all time. Just, I could watch that anytime. You tell me, you know what, let's watch that match. Done.
Nice.
All right. What do you got,
gentlemen?
next?
I'm gonna take something that it's gonna be hard to nail down matches. So I'm gonna take a group of them.
Okay.
I'm going with the stipulation that was handed down to Ric Flair from Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The next match you lose, you're fired.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
The whole stretch into the WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels and the accumulation match with Shawn Michaels, that whole stretch of if you lose, you're fired, made me fall in love with Ric Flair again, because every single match was Flair back at his best. Yep. The cheating antics, the falling backwards, acting like he's gotten hit, the low blows, everything that you would get from being called the dirtiest player in the game, and that last stretch. And then to have the go-out match with Mr. WrestleMania that brought tears to my damn eyes when Shawn Michaels is telling him, I'm sorry.
I love you.
I love you. Damn it, I was sorry too. That
got
whole
big feels,
stretch.
too.
I'm taking that whole period, that whole time into the retirement.
Great call.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
so this next match of mine, a little bit of an unconventional one, but when you think about the star power that was involved in this match, you're going to understand why I hold it in such high regard. Ric Flair had just made his debut in WWE, and he was going around proclaiming himself the real world's heavyweight champion.
Yes.
Back in the 1991 Survivor Series, he decided to get involved in the WWF title match in which The Undertaker beat Hulk Hogan to win his first WWF title. He would also get involved in the rematch the following Tuesday in Texas, where he would try to come out. He was banned from ringside by then President Jack Tunney, but he would still try to find a way to get involved. And then we all had the controversy of Hulk Hogan throwing the ashes in the eyes of The Undertaker to get the title back. That led to an unprecedented move by Jack Tunney where he declared the WWF title vacant. That takes us into my next match, and that would be the 1992 Royal Rumble match. That they get where the winner, the 30 participants, not only had them, were in this match for bragging rights because this was before whoever the winner would get the automatic title shot going into Mania. But you had 30 guys now all of a sudden finding out that, hey, if I win this match, I'm the WWF champion.
Yep.
And one of the reasons, besides there's so many reasons why I hold this match in such high regard. The main one being is this was the first time I saw Ric Flair go 60 minutes, like where obviously he had already had the reputation of being the 60-minute man, but at this time I hadn't seen it yet because I was only maybe about a year and a half into my wrestling fandom. But when Ric Flair came out at number 3, nobody in the world thought he had a chance to do, because at the time, if you drew a single digit number in the Royal Rumble, you were screwed.
Yep.
But somehow, some way, Flair found a way to survive and last until the end. And you go into that match, you think about all of the WWE Hall of Famers that were in the match. You had Ted DiBiase. You have the British Bulldog, who's supposed to be inducted this year, but obviously that's getting pushed back. You had Flair. You had Tito Santana. You had Shawn Michaels. You had Hulk Hogan. You had Sergeant Slaughter. You had the Iron Sheik. Yep. You had Randy Savage. You had Roddy Piper. You had the Big Boss Man. I mean, just the star power in that match alone, in my opinion, is the greatest assemblage of talent for one single match of all time. Yes. And the last reason why I hold this match in such high regard is because this is my favorite piece of commentary on a match of all time. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. This is their masterpiece when it comes to like their work as a duo in commentary. And I mean, and to think, like when Flair came out at number 3, Heenan was so pissed because he felt in his mind that like Flair had no chance, and Monsoon was riding him throughout the whole night. And then, it got to the end, when Flair won, Heenan's like, yes. And he basically darts off, leaves commentary and takes off running. And then you get to that backstage promo where Ric Flair cut the, with the tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life promo. And I believe that was also the same promo where Mean Gene told some stagehand to put out that cigarette. But I mean, just Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect were just in the background laughing, and just the line, they both said, Bobby Heenan's like, we're not the kinds of guy to say we told you so, but we told you so. Top to bottom, just that match again. My introduction to Ric Flair as a 60-minute man, the star power in the match, the commentary, that just, and to this day, that I still think that is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time, and nothing's ever going to come close to that.
100% agree. Ric Flair's motto: to be the man, you have to beat the man. Now, my next match exactly personifies that motto. Ric Flair made his name in a lot of people's eyes when he beat Harley Race.
Yep.
The king of the ring, the self-proclaimed king of wrestling, one of the most brutal people ever. Harley was a tough SOB. And he was one of those legitimate worker guys, right? If he didn't like you, oh, you were getting worked over. You were stiffed.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley and Flair, I want to say Starcade 83.
Yes, Flair for the gold.
Flair for the gold. That is what, in my eyes, I think that made Ric Flair, because in essence, he was the man because he beat the man.
Yep. Well put. So I'm kind of going back and forth on my third and probably the last match we're gonna discuss here, because there are just so many good ones. And again, guys, if there's something you like and you don't hear us talking about it, share with us in the group. Let us know.
Right, definitely.
So I'm gonna go with this particular match, and then I've got an honorable mention as well too. I'm gonna go a little further back than the first two matches I had. I'm gonna go to, I believe the date was, and if I'm wrong on this, that's fine. I believe it was March. A certain company was putting on a pay-per-view where they were promoting that a tournament where the winner would become the undisputed WWF champion. Obviously, we all know that would go on to be won by the Macho Man Randy Savage. But going on at the exact same time was a show put on by the NWA, free of charge on TBS, running opposite directly of WrestleMania, and that was what had been known as the very first Clash of Champions. The main event of that night was Ric Flair defending the NWA Heavyweight Championship against a certain man who was on his way to the top of the business, and that was a man called Sting.
Yes.
The reason why, this is my favorite Sting match of all time, but the reason why I'm mentioning it here is because not only did this again show that Flair could go, but this was the match that put Sting on the map. And fans took notice of Sting from that night on and said, this guy is going to be something. And it also was the start of one of the greatest, what in my opinion, the greatest rivalry of the WCW era. I'm not including NWA. I'm talking just strictly WCW. And that's Ric Flair and Sting. And I just think for that. And then my honorable mention, I just want to throw out there real quick because of the build-up to the match and just the stakes and everything. Starrcade 1993, Ric Flair versus the man they called Vader, when Flair won the WCW heavyweight title. They did the thing where, they started the show where Flair was leaving his home. I believe it was Tony Schiavone was with him. I'm not sure who it was that had rode with him to the arena, but it's like the first time that I gotten to see, Ric Flair's family. I believe if I'm not mistaken, it may have been Charlotte's first appearance on camera.
Yep.
As a young teenager and stuff. But just the build up to that match and just like Flair had to win or else he was done. And obviously Vader was just on a tear at the time, and just and just to see Ric Flair win and just it was just like you knew he had finally obviously he had a run with the NWA title earlier that year and stuff, but by then the NWA title meant squat. So just to finally get that real championship win after coming back to WCW was just a great moment in Ric Flair's career.
Agreed.
So okay, Jovan.
That's it. My honorable mention was going to be the Stinger, but DDJ got it out. So that's you can't go wrong with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. If you have the WWE Network, type his name in. You have a multitude of matches from damn near 3 different decades to choose from.
Yeah, there's so much out there. Scott, you can talk about Flair Steamboat from Spring Stampede 1994. You can talk about, Flair versus Randy Savage from WrestleMania 8. There's so much out there and stuff. But yeah,
he was the bar to measure up to. So if you have a favorite wrestler of that time frame, I guarantee you they had to go through Flair.
Yep,
exactly. Before we go, Flair did have a brief stint in TNA. Do you guys got any favorite matches from there, or are we just going to throw that out and forget about it?
Not necessarily a match, but the woo-off he had with Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
I think Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, again, I was kind of just I was because it's just like he clearly know he went there just for a paycheck. And I mean, I'm not going to fault someone from going out, and earning their money. I do believe his run in TNA kind of tarnished his legacy a little bit. So
right.
And
what?
A little bit. Yes, I agree.
Okay. Okay. I definitely, that's where I kind of wanted to end it there. Like, I definitely go through the woo off. And one thing I would definitely recommend if you are a Ric Flair fan or kind of don't really know too much about Ric Flair, there was a 30 for 30 documentary on ESPN that was very well done. Seek that out and you can learn about Rick becoming a wrestler, who he was before, and kind of like his journey to becoming the man.
Yeah. And just
named Ric Flair.
All the demons he's fought over the years, and I think to a certain extent he still fights. And I mean, it talks in depth about his his brush with death back in 2017, and I remember that because right after he got sick, I was at a convention and I got to meet Charlotte, and I was so happy to be able to thank her. I went up to her and I just told her how much her dad meant to me and stuff, and and I said, I'm just so glad he's still with us and stuff. And she was really appreciative of that. So yeah, I actually happened to manage to find a copy of that on DVD. And it's just, if you haven't seen it, if you have ESPN Plus, I believe you can watch it on there, find it online and stuff. But yeah, check out that, because that is a really just documentary, very eye-opening.
All right. I think that's going to do it for our trip to class this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this week's episode of The Junkyard. If you aren't already, please make sure you are following us on our social media accounts, PW_junkies. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. My colleagues are pointing at the top. Also, with this, are talking about our matches, 4 Horsemen, anything, please make sure you guys leave some input, some comments. Let us know, and we will definitely be sure to read those on the air. So,
yes,
we love the interaction from our fans, from everybody. So, please just let us know, and we'll read those out online. And you guys can stop pointing now. They're fandangoing now, but just pointing up. But yeah,
say fandangoing.
No fandangoing. We're tired. So yeah, make sure you follow us on all those social media accounts. Also, search Pro Wrestling Junkies on Google. You can find our Facebook group and everything. You can follow me on Twitter at scancer11. And then, Dennis, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, I am at Dennis W. Day Jr. And obviously, I'm also on Facebook as Dennis Day Jr. I try to be very involved in the Pro Wrestling Junkies group, but I also am very involved on my regular Facebook page. I'm friends with a lot of guys in the group, in the group and stuff, and I'm always up for talking wrestling. Again, please reach out to me, reach out to one of these 2 awesome dudes, share us on the show and stuff. And that, and I mean, yeah, like I said, we want to be more interactive. I mean, we're doing this podcast for you guys. We want you to feel like you're part of the, the Junkyard. Giovanni?
That was amazing. DDJ's been dropping it with these awesomeness tonight.
Yeah.
It's been Spencer's night in the way of, being right and all that junk, but DDJ has been doing great wrap-ups. Yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen of the Junkyard, thank y'all for being with us. You can find me on Twitter at Giovanni2Hotty. You can find me on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page under Javon Menacho. I am very active on the page. I'm active on Twitter. You guys get bored, drop me a line. I'm always around.
All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you again for joining us for episode 4 of The Junkyard. Make sure you check out all our past episodes. Subscribe, leave a 5-star rating. Definitely would love that. That helps out like the iTunes, Apple algorithm. So please make sure you guys do that. So thank you again. Have a great...
One more thing before we call it a night, guys. Yep. By the time this episode drops on Tuesday, Survivor Series will have already happened, and if you didn't get a chance to do it live, please make sure you check out our Survivor Series reaction show.
Yep, we'll be going live in the Facebook group right after Survivor Series. So
we will have gone live.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we record these before and that, so I'm still trying to get used to that. So yeah, DDJ just ruined my outro. So he's like, "Oh yeah, you had a great night." No, screw you. So hey,
no, you did that to yourself. Don't be trying to put it on me, buddy.
Hey, retribution will Hobbs. And for that, have a great night. See you guys next week.